Oh, look at you. I love it.
I wasn't sure which one you wanted, so I just
City Pigeons. Yeah, we're live. That's you.
Gentlemen, hey, we did it again.
What?
And I couldn't be more proud.
We found a new crazy spot to broadcast from.
Well, it's related to that. I couldn't be more proud. I was going to say of us, but really, let's be honest, I kind of made this all come to, fruition. Not that you guys aren't supportive, but I have used the podcast as a vehicle to get us into another picturesque setting where we get to drink delicious beer. And I think that's a huge accomplishment that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, it gives me some legitimacy when I tell my wife I have to be somewhere.
So that's exactly where I was going.
Brings me back to my old stomping grounds. I was a Drexel University attendant. And
as long as this thunderstorm doesn't break out, we are in good shape. But listen, that's exactly what I was going to say, because think about it. Saying to my wife, we got to do the podcast. I lined it up with my buddy Jake at Human Robot. We're going to go to his brewery. Got all the guys coming. We got the production team. It's a big deal, She's like, okay. She doesn't love it. But if I said to her, I'm going to go to the bar and hang out with a couple of buddies and have beers, I got no chance. Yeah. So I don't know how long.
So all these wires are just an elaborate setup.
It's not even real.
So we can hang out.
Real. She wouldn't know the difference. Look, I don't know how long I can sustain this, but I'm telling you guys this. I'm going to run this thing out for as long as it can go. And that's my promise to you. All right? I mean that. Do you appreciate it?
I think Fink does. What do you think, Fink? It's good.
He's
like Stevie Wonder.
There he is.
It's good. He's playing his little keyboard.
And by the way, now that we just went live, our gracious host has entered the picture. This is Jake Atkinson. He is one of the owners of the Human Robot Brewery.
Excellent.
Jake, the camera's over there, bud. So, you just want to kind of smile.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're live. So Jake Atkinson.
Live.
Now, real quick, guys. These are the Human Robot milk tubes. And here's the thing. He came on to do one with us because you got to drink them right away, or else they end up going away because they're mostly foam, whatever. You just got to chug it. So here we go. Here we go. Salute. Thank you, guys.
Salute, gentlemen.
It's that Kyoto cold brew. I can't pound that.
Yeah. So, I almost got through the whole thing there, Jake.
I'll be up for 5 days if I drank that.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to have Jake on later, and obviously shout out to him for allowing us to be here. He basically opened this place up to us, which is ridiculous, but we appreciate it. And great setting. And Human Robot, they've got a location down in Fishtown, which is amazing, and they just opened up this tasting room here on the Schuylkill Banks. It's amazing. We thought this was going to be one of the most beautiful evenings. Now we might be dodging a thunderstorm.
It's pretty easy to pull up transportation to get to,
You can absolutely.
30th Street's right there.
I didn't know.
30th Street.
Station. Okay.
Well,
so
behind us is the old the old post office, and then
that's
30th Street is across from
That's right. So
You get envelopes delivered there,
all
Mike?
the way back. Huh?
You got envelopes delivered there?
I got a few envelopes. I used to have a P.O. box there.
And we got to mention, obviously, something a little different. You're looking at us. You're wondering what's going on. Rocky's not here. I think he's doing like an anniversary trip with his wife. More power to him.
Shout out, Rock.
He's only a year in. Guys like me, we're
Shout out,
15
Lindsay.
deep. Meech, how deep are you into the game?
I'm pretty deep.
Pretty deep. I'd rather not say.
I've been in the game since '96, but married since 2007.
Beautiful.
And I'm sure if Rock was watching this from his vacation, he would consider this waff right here. The four of us up here.
This is so waff. If you watch the pod before, this is a very waff situation.
So we only made it more. We need you back here, man, just to bring some kind of flavor into this.
We're not doing.
We
so
look kind of corny up here, just four pasty white guys.
What made it even pastier, though?
You got hair, though.
Wait, what made it even pastier is we brought our boy Tom Henneman in here, who I really regret bringing him in.
That's not a nice intro.
That's a nice.
Really,
But
look at him. I'm actually regretting bringing him on because he's got like this wavy hair. The beard is relatively tamed. He's got
Looking
these
sharp,
smooth
Tom.
I had to get it
glasses.
trimmed. It's getting wild.
Damn.
He looks good. Really.
Us guys next to you, it's not such a good thing. So, guys, we did have
It's not a beauty contest up here.
Well,
please.
that's for sure. If it was, we'd be in big trouble. So
I'm hoping you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music instead of watching my ugly ass.
that's the preferred method, folks. Okay. No, but we did have a momentous occasion recently, right? The podcast
Celebrated 1 year.
turned one. Okay, and that's a big deal. I didn't know if we'd be able to do it for a whole year, and we just kind of kept going. And again, getting to spots like this and being able to, build relationships and drink people's beer, has helped. And so if you guys haven't checked this out, I just wanted to plug one thing. We did make a trailer.
Just checked in real quick.
Rock checked in?
Checked into the chat and said, looking real waffy.
He said we're looking real waffy.
See,
so Rocky's in the chat.
Yeah.
I love that. Last week we had Fink in the chat. Now we got Rock in the chat. Appreciate you guys checking in.
If any minority is walking by 34th Street, just feel free to stop on by just to flavor up this panel here.
That's right. Absolutely. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my own video. So we created a video. It's a 1 year recap of highlights. You can check it out on our YouTube page. It's the 2023 or 2023 recap sizzle. It's great. It has all the guests and stuff. It has Meech and Fink, and it's a really good video. Check it out. And by the way, if you've been listening or watching the podcast and you haven't, we're not the greatest self-promoters. I think that's evident at this point. But if you can, like our YouTube channel and subscribe and maybe leave a, what do they call it? The review when you're on Apple or Spotify. We could use more of those. So if you listen a lot and you haven't done that, throw us a bone, and maybe we can do that. And that helps us, by the way, here's the natural segue. That helps us to secure our local partnerships with the businesses and the individuals that we know and love, like Mark Goodhart and the Goodhart Law Firm. Mark Goodhart and the Goodhart Law Firm.
Love always wins.
Love always wins,
baby.
He's
Love
on sponsor
always
level platinum, which is wear the T-shirt. You're the man. Okay, so we got Mark Goodhart, and we got the fans of Philly, who we're going to get into a little later, who are rolling out all of your Eagles trips, like Bananas Eagles trips that we've been talking about.
I just seen they're scheduling the London Phillies trip.
Ooh. Good day, mate. Maybe we should head over there.
That's Australian.
It was intentional. That was bad. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. But anyway, look, fans of Philly, we thank you for your support. An awesome local company, and we love to support our local companies. And on that note, we have a new sponsor, guys, that's amazing, and another relationship that was born from the podcast and the people involved. Our buddy Tom Henneman helped kind of get these guys into the fold. I'm going to hand it over to him to talk a little bit about our new partners.
Thank you, Jesse. One of the things that we love to do here is create community here with the pigeons, and we bring all our other birds and bring them into the flock.
That's right. Birds of a Feather tailgate.
Birds of a Feather, yeah.
Yeah,
and our buddy Alex Epstein and his company A-Best Swag have come on board as our most recent sponsor. You can get a little sample of what they do here.
Ooh.
Any of your custom
That's
swag,
nice, man. And that's not even
items,
embroidered. Yeah, it's beautiful.
They'll create the web stores, employee stores.
Tom is wearing a beautiful A-Best Swag sweatshirt if you're listening online. He looks great.
It's getting a little chilly here. I could use one myself.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be hot.
You were clowning me earlier. Now who's
you
going to
cannot have it. If you trade them for the City Pigeons shirt.
You have to ask
You have to ask Ep.
You got to say,
That's the man. So what do they do at A-Best Swag, Tom? Let the good people know.
Any of your custom swag, promotional items, bags, hats, keychains, any of that stuff. Employee swag bags.
And by the way, let me just say, I was on the website yesterday looking around, and I thought they did T-shirts. They'll put a logo on anything, and we need to explore this. And by the way, we are going to work with A-Best Swag to create a web store for people to buy City Pigeons merchandise like Fink's wearing, which up to this point have been kind of indie underground items.
Shout out Die Hard.
Shout out Die Hard. But we're gonna produce some stuff, and we might put our logo on body wash. I don't know. Meech, do you have any good ideas on that front?
Can you put a logo on me?
Yeah.
Not offhand.
Maybe we can put it on your pillow so you see it when you take your naps. Is that a good idea?
That's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea. Anyway,
A-Best Swag,
pillows.
Please check them out on Instagram at A-Best Swag. Tell them the pigeon sent you. Ep, we love you. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, by the way, we need a code. That's the next level. We got to get a code, pigeons
like a 20% off code.
Yeah, that's when you know that you are.
They were worried about their ability to handle the orders.
Yeah, they would come
going out there on the first night.
We knew it would be
going out heavy with the code.
So on the note,
baby steps,
guys, to celebrate the 1 year birthday, anniversary, whatever you want to call it, of the City Pigeons podcast, I thought it would be fun for everybody to go back and talk about what they thought was kind of like something that stuck out to them, their favorite moment during the time we're doing the podcast. I know there's been a lot of wild times. It's been a lot of good times, honestly. One of my favorite things about the whole thing has been hanging out with you guys and building friendships. I remember Meech, we went to a Sixers game with Fink before, I don't even know if we had a podcast at that time.
No, that was.
And since then, now he's my brother, from another mother. Love this guy. And that's the fun part about this as the helicopters fly overhead. That's what you get to do, man. You get to hang out and do stuff. And sometimes it's great. And sometimes it's actually pretty damn tough. But you make it through. I'll say this. when I was thinking about it, my favorite moment, hands down, was the Ray Dinger intro. If you were listening or watching the City Pigeons podcast and you are a Philadelphia sports fan and you have not seen the beginning of the "Oh crap, it's Ray Diddy" episode, it's probably our finest piece of work.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say this, Meech, it was a tag team effort. You were the brains. So
Meech's idea.
Yeah, it was Meech's idea. Can you speak a little bit to the idea, and then I'll talk about the execution a little? Would that be good?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking of some way to put, like, Ray Diddy is obviously one of those guys who's known to be without technology at all. He's not into cell phones.
Tell him how bad.
He's not into iPads.
Yeah,
he's not into
so
computers.
Ray Dinger does not have a cell phone.
No.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Ray Dinger is probably the most well-respected sports figure, journalist, media in all of Philadelphia.
It goes without saying.
Right. He's a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know who he is. But he has never embraced technology. He uses the yellow pad. So we all had our yellow pads, but go ahead, Meech.
So I had an idea, which was to pretend like he's conducting some sort of high-tech NFT ring, and he gets scammed, and just something so absurd that would obviously not be in his
but the idea was that he secretly actually used technology, but he pretended that he didn't.
So, but 10 minutes before the show started,
but wait, no. So Meech gave me this idea, and I said, "It's gold, Jerry." Right? But I just don't know. Like, I asked him to do the show. He agreed right away. We scheduled it, and I was like, I don't,
because these people don't really know what they're walking into, like what kind of show it is. We don't have a long enough track record to where they could watch 10 episodes. And
I'm quite sure that Ray Dinger walked in the door to do the podcast without ever watching it. Just based on the fact that I asked him to do it, which is amazing. He's an awesome, awesome guy. But I said to me, he just said, look, I don't know that I can ask him to do this. He's going to walk in, how much time we have. But it was so good. And he's just like, we got to do it. He had a script. He had a freaking script. So Ray Dinger walks in the door at the place that we're doing it. And I said to him, we talk a little and hang for a minute. And I said to him, hey, we have this idea for how we want to start the show. And he's kind of looking at me like, okay. And next thing you know, he sits down. Meech we put the script on a laptop, which obviously he's not using at all.
I wrote it down on a giant, like in large font on a piece of paper.
We put it on the computer screen, like lay it on the computer, not on the actual computer. We give him a phone. So
which he held upside down.
The best part is he holds the phone upside down. But anyway, we just roll, and it wasn't live, but
he got it right away.
Either way, he did it like an actor. And if you haven't seen it, he's talking about moving money from his bank accounts, NFTs.
I remember the conversation I had. Now, this is a conversation I'm having with Ray Dinger. I was like, listen, Ray, I want you to play this like Adam West when he's having a conversation with Commissioner Gordon, how he like plays it so deadpan and straight. And he's like, okay, I can relate to that.
He nailed it. Yeah, you went to him. You talked to him. You spoke to him. There you go.
And he's like, I can understand that.
He knew how to get there.
He's done some acting in some of his Tommy and Me and all this stuff.
That's what I was saying. He understands the.
He just jumped right into it. Remember, we walk in. He's like, "Oh, hey, fellas," and starts putting it all away.
And he got it perfect on the first take. The inflections, like Jesse said. If you haven't seen it, I don't mean to brag or anything, but it's pretty damn funny, and it's worth checking out.
I will tell you this: there's been a few moments during the podcast where I felt like this makes it all worthwhile, and that was one of them. Where I was like, we got this legendary guy to do something that's so out of character and so funny. It felt amazing to do.
That was by far, no matter what happens with this podcast, that was a cool ass moment.
It wasn't standing in the rain for hours on a Sunday in the cold.
What, for the tailgate? No. Actually, that's another good story while we're at it. We had a tailgate and it was pouring rain. What game was that? That wasn't the Dallas game.
Green Bay?
I think it was Green Bay. That's right. Green Bay. Anyway, Tom and I were getting down to the parking lot at 10 in the morning for half these games or whatever time it was. And we had to decide if we're going to do it. And we all huddled under a tent. We made it happen. But that's what it's really been all about, right? It's just making it happen, just going, having a good time, rolling with it, Yeah. Do you guys think anything that sticks out to you, buddy? Don't say it's good.
It's good.
It's good. It was good.
It's good.
It was good.
I've been having some fun over this.
I mean,
that
Fink,
one
I gotta be
episode
honest,
with
There we go.
what's it, Devin Caney. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
What up, DK? That was a good
Damn.
fun episode. I enjoyed
That was. Can I ask you a
one.
question? At the time of that episode, what was your status with Devin Caney? Do you think that
So I
helped?
also had fun at the Christmas party. That
Oh,
was a
see,
good one.
You're gonna
too. That
move
was
away
fun.
from it.
That
That
was
was
fun
fun.
time too.
Okay, fair enough.
Jamie Lynch was there. That's my guy.
Jamie's the man.
Arcade episode was a real good one. He was fun.
The silent protest against Winter was your finest moment.
That was great. Yes.
down.
Yes. If you haven't seen Fink's silent protest against Winter, where he dressed up like Hunter S. Thompson, Fink's been a good sport throughout the whole thing. The Fink tank tonight, you're not really the Fink tank. You're part of this, which is not ideal, but it's fine.
Wait till you see how pale my legs look on this.
You're
video.
pale. You're pale. Your legs are pale, man. There's no doubt about it. But that's okay. We got the summer ahead of us.
But aside from that, I think the coolest part for me was when I was gifted World Series tickets a few days before the game. That was pretty fucking.
I forget who did that.
Yeah, I think it was Rock. Maybe gave me. No, it was you, Jesse. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then you adopted that child that you put on your shoulders.
That's right.
Man, there's been so many
The
good
wholesome
times.
moment of the year.
There's really been so many good times. No, but I appreciate you guys. It's been fun. Like I said, we're going to run this thing into the ground. I don't know. I don't know when my family will intervene or anybody and say, you got to stop doing this. But for now,
Let's get back
Back into
into
the
Philly
lines.
sports
All right,
right
back into
now.
the lines
let's
as well
do it.
before-
Enough about us, which probably, it was nice for us to reminisce, but nobody gives a fuck. I mean,
well,
let's get into Philly sports.
all right. Okay, so
do we have to?
getting it back to Philly sports. Yeah, do we have to? I was like this close to a major meltdown freak out moment because we had a couple people that we knew that were at the Phillies game today where they almost lost their third game in the row to the Diamondbacks, to go, what was it, like lose 8 of their last 11 or
Yeah, it wouldn't have been
something. Anyway, I was ready to start this like, we had the Sixers, now we got the Phillies. This is the end of the world. And it's funny because you were at the game, and I actually posted something saying Meech is going to be so mad tonight. And then they ended up winning the game. So
While I was on my way home to
Yeah.
get prepared to be here, so
Your
I
diligence.
didn't have to pay Mark Goodhart by the hour again to write me up another bullshit letter.
Right. Because if you recall from the
excusing my
last
absence.
episode, Meech issued what some are calling
A few weeks ago, I missed an episode because I went to an afternoon Phillies game. Something happened afterwards. We're still not sure what happened, and I couldn't make the game. Today, this afternoon, I went to the Phillies game, and I left in the 7th inning to make sure I got here so I wouldn't have to hear any bullshit or come up with an excuse why I couldn't make it. And Trey Turner has his first big hit as a goddamn Philly, ties it up in the 9th inning with
Down to the last
2
strike.
outs, and then they win it in the 10th, and I listened to it on the radio on my way home. But I'm here with you
are
guys.
saying you might be the problem?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I was uprooted from
Well,
my seat at the game
listen,
to get to a podcast, but I love it, and I enjoy
mush.
being here.
you could have easily watched the entirety of the game, strolled downtown, enjoyed happy hour. But either way, you chose to make the trip back to the Great Northeast, and that's on you. But I digress. Look, last episode, you issued what some are calling a subpar statement where you failed to
Who are
accept
these some?
responsibility
Me.
for your
Have
actions.
you checked the mentions? I mean, the
Yeah,
complaints have been
it's
flooding in.
everyone
No
agrees.
sincerity.
Wait,
poll.
yeah,
He
was
lost
there a
the poll.
poll?
Sincerity.
Fink, what was the results of the poll?
See, I think those poll people are just
No,
trying
no.
to get
What
under
did they
my
say,
skin.
Fink, about
Well, we got these
suspending
new
him?
ones.
Like
That's
at 54% said he should
That's
be
it.
going.
Like
Right.
most of the
Jeez.
poll was probably my children or something.
Yeah, they were defending you.
No,
Anyway,
they were
look,
against me.
Hey,
Yeah.
you went
They're
to the
trying to get
game
me in
today,
trouble.
and you made it here, and for that, we're thankful. Whether you went
Oh,
home
yeah.
or not,
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't get a nap.
He brought
but
us
it's
food
okay.
too.
Maybe it would have been more entertaining if I didn't show up again. You could have talked.
It would have.
About
But then we
that.
would have been down you and Rock, which would have been hard.
Yeah.
Struggle
But we have
City.
Tom.
Me and Fink, Jesse would have been in
we would
trouble.
have been okay. We would have been absolutely okay. Okay, so the episode we called "Check Yourself," and in
Right,
my
we haven't done any checking of
I want
ourselves
to check.
yet.
I want to check myself. I want to check everybody. But the idea there was that look, like we are now at another moment where we got to look in the mirror and be like, what the hell are we dealing with here? We've had this long period of the process that doesn't appear to have changed anything.
Well, here's where I differ. We don't have to look in the mirror. They have to look in the mirror.
I hear you.
We didn't do it. They did it.
This is true, but we have to live with it. You know what I mean? And by the way, we kind of, some of us have supported this and thought, we're growing and it's working and we got the, and now we have to face the reality that it feels almost like we're not back at square one, but we're in a very problematic position. And the way that went down was infuriating. Right? I know, Fink. Did you see Meech reacting to this?
Oh, I have it.
Did you see him? This guy was firing off lots of angry tweets.
We were laughing about it on the ride here.
Just let me. I don't even know what he's about to say because sometimes in the heat of the moment, I just say shit.
Bring in Mac.
But that's what I like. Which probably may have helped us.
Yes. And then he said, "I apologize. I'm a broken man."
But listen, I'm just firing off these tweets because I'm passionate in the moment, and I think it's funny. I like to, I don't truly mean everything I say, and it's not from the heart, but in the heat of the moment, I'm intense. I just like expressing myself. Otherwise, I'd bottle everything up and I'd be a mess inside.
I feel like you mean everything you say.
I really do.
Yeah, you do.
But here's my main thing with the Sixers, which, like everyone knows, we've had 3 teams. The Phillies lost the World Series. The Eagles lost the Super Bowl, and
after being up,
and then the Sixers just got ousted in the second round again.
Not comparable to the other 2 at all, but
not comparable, but
painful.
When I think what you see with the Phillies right now is you have to take advantage of when you're in the World Series, because right now they're like in turmoil. Their pitching sucks. They're in 3rd place or 4th in their division. They're just they're not in a good space. So last year when they were there, you have to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, they didn't, but I wasn't disappointed with them. I was proud of what they did. The Eagles, they played a great game. Yeah. I wasn't disappointed in them. The Sixers, it's disappointing. Like you can't watch them and see that James Harden has 0 points in the last 3 games in the 4th quarter.
Very disappointing.
And think that's okay. It's like Embiid averaged 31 points in the regular season and 23 in the playoffs. You can't take a step back like that.
MVP. He's the only MVP to never make it to not make it to the conference finals.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It's the same shit year after year too. It's not
right.
And it's like what's going to happen next. Like we sit there, we're like, we have to get past round 2, and they just completely get knocked out in round 2, and they don't show heart. They don't show.
They came home with the 3-2 lead. We're up in the second half. A minute and a half left to go.
Odds to win the
and
finals
folded,
after game 5. They had the best odds to win the finals entire league. And all you had to do is win one fucking game. Excuse my language. We had to win one game, and that's
at home.
At home, your next game's at home, and then you go up there. You show with Doug. What did they have? 13 points in the quarter.
You know what it was?
Tatum
they had 10.
You know what it was? It was your boy.
Jason Tatum outscored him in 2 different quarters.
It was Jesse's boy.
6 and 7. That's
who's my boy?
Who somehow managed to have a wide open layup, miss the layup, and pick up a flagrant foul at the same time. When Harden, that was game 6. Where Harden picked up the flagrant on a missed layup.
They were relying on PJ Tucker for offense. Like, he's your 5th option.
An inspiration. He was the one that kept him into it.
So look, you called him my boy because you're teeing me up for this. I don't tend to look at it as much in terms of stats, analytics, and all that. I'm more of a heart guy in terms of the emotional involvement of me with the team. And so
you don't want a team of wusses.
Yeah, well, James Harden to me has got to be one of the least emotionally relevant, I don't know if I'm phrasing this the right way, players that we've ever had. And here's what I mean. When guys come here, right, when we sign superstars, and this Butler was kind of similar, although I think he appreciated us because he's tough too. When guys come here, I want to believe they think it's different, right? I want to see from them that they feel the same way we do. Like, this is a special place. It's not the same to play here as it is everywhere else. And for some players, and I'm gonna draw a stark contrast between Bryce Harper and James Harden. Now, can you compare the two? Bryce Harper got a 10-year deal, Harden, a couple years, whatever. Maybe not. But when Bryce Harper first came, clearly he either understood that it was in his best interest to act like he got it, or he really did get it and he cared. And it was different to him, right? And James Harden, I swear to God, watching this guy
Bryce
play,
Harper mastered how to pander to the Philadelphia
But
athlete.
I do think it motivated him, and I do think he cared, and I do think he was happy to play in a legit sports town as compared to James Harden, who I believe firmly could give a shit about what name is on the front of his jersey and what city he plays for. And to me, that's where I bail.
So what you're telling me is, what you're explaining is, Bryce Harper cares more. It's not about us personally. It's just no matter where he is, he's going to endear himself to that community. And James Harden isn't. It's more the passion of the player. And when you care about winning, like Bryce Harper is, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 16. Like, he's been a phenom forever.
Right.
So he doesn't have to do all this.
Right.
But it's in him. It's innate.
Totally.
He loves it, and he wants the moment.
But let me say this.
James Harden, maybe doesn't.
This is the difference I want to draw. And look, I'd have to go back and look at Bryce Harper interviews when he was in Washington, but I have a feeling he's not saying the same things. He's not doing the same things in Washington that he's doing in Philadelphia. You know why? Because it's a shitty sports market. And when he got to Philly, he's like, you know what? This is legit. I can play here because I'm a dog and I'm going to go out there and bust my ass. James Harden could give a crap whether he's in Brooklyn, Philly. All he cares about who he's playing with, what they're doing after the game, right?
Look at all the stars he's played
with. Like, he's one of these guys, and I'm not a big, like, get off my lawn guy when it comes to we're the reason that you make all this money. That's not my thing. But I just want to say, like, he has been unaffected as far as I can tell.
He puts a fan in an awkward position where it's like,
he's hard to like the guy.
Right.
And he's had his moments. The game he had against the Celtics in game 1 was unbelievable.
Unreal.
But you can't do that and then do what you do in the other games.
But he does, and he does it every year for every team he's ever played on.
Right. And he suckers you into believing that it's going to be different. He suckers you into believing that he gives a crap. And I'll say this. Here's where I'm really concerned. Joel Embiid grew up here, and he seemed to give a shit about it. He was down at the NFL draft. He went to the Super Bowl. He's with the people. But I'm seeing a real fatigue in Joel Embiid that leads me to believe he's spending too much time with the Hardens of the world and is starting to give a crap a lot less about doing it for Philly like he said he wanted to do. And he cares more about, himself and getting rings and all that. And that would be a damn shame for him to give up on what he's tried to do up to this point. So I'm just pissed off about this. Anybody got anything to say about that?
Hey, look at this view we have here.
Are you bringing up old
with
shit?
The twilight?
You want to do a podcast?
No, listen.
While it goes from light to dark.
I don't want to question people's ability to, like, their hungriness, their how much they want it, but it's apparent that James Harden just emotionally disconnects in big games, and it's tough to watch.
You talk about, like, the incorporation into the city, but
Harden, here's the thing:
you don't know anything about Harden. Yeah. What do you know about Harden?
He's got a beard.
Busted him and little baby.
Here's the thing:
no one knows
interesting clothing.
Daryl Morey is his like.
I don't get him.
Is his lifelong buddy. Like, I think James Harden is Daryl Morey's muse. So if you don't think he's going to do everything in his power to sign him to the $4,200,000 max, which will in turn anger Joel Embiid.
There's no way he's
cause
Harden's gone. He's gone. There's no way he's coming back.
You think so?
There's no way he's coming back.
No way.
No way.
I'll do a gentleman's bet. A gentleman's City Pigeons bet right here for $5 that $5? James Harden gets signed.
I want to go for a chicken sandwich. Let me get into this one.
Can you do a chicken sandwich?
Chicken. Which one? Barbecue?
I want the original. Every Sunday.
James Harden will re-sign
overtaken you
for the max with the Sixers. Just a friendly bet.
Friendly wager.
I don't see how you could lock yourself to him.
If he had any dog into him, he would have multiple rings. You can't play. Look at all the studs he's played with, and he's got nothing to show for it.
I think here's Daryl. Daryl Morey's a weird dude, but he was either going to go to Doc or James Harden. What should have happened was they tossed him out of there and Harden and Doc,
all of them.
But they didn't. They kept him. So what's going to happen is he's going to choose Harden, which is going to ultimately cause a rift between Harden and Embiid, which will cause
we're not
Embiid
going
to
to end up with
demand a
Harden.
trade.
There's definitely no way we're going to end up
If
with
we end up with
Harden.
Harden and Embiid's gone, I'm going to jump in the river.
I'm jumping. I'm going.
If you don't bring back Harden, you're kind of like in purgatory as well. Like you can't make that many moves. You have the Tobias contract that's going to come off next season, but what are you going to do for next season?
That's what I'm saying. I think we're just totally screwed. It's bad. It's bad.
This is hell.
Right.
And Daryl, he's getting paid $12 million a year. What you're the GM. Figure it the hell out. Like,
now,
this is ridiculous. We can't get past the second goddamn round.
On the subject of us being screwed and moving forward, obviously they fired Doc Rivers. There's a coaching search going on, right? And it seems to be a bit of a circus already. I'm not going to lie. I don't know crap about half of these coaches. Look, Nick Nurse seems to have done a good job. And
what did you wait? What did you just say that you wanted in a player?
Did I say a dog? Yeah. I want a dog. Well, that seems like an overused phrase, but you get my point. I want like a bunch of PJ Tuckers that can do more than what PJ Tucker can do, right? Which is, by the way, I'm kind of surprised. PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler were on the same team last year, and they didn't win. That's like the ultimate dog combo.
Well, they were close. They made it to the conference championship.
Right.
PJ Tucker won with the Bucks. He made it pretty far with the Suns. I mean, PJ Tucker's one of those guys. If he's on your team, you're going to make it pretty far in the
Talk
playoffs.
About PJ Tucker. We got another tweet from Meech. It's the fourth quarter, Game 7. Joel Embiid and James Harden have the same amount of points as Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker. Like that's insanity. That's insane.
You should never read those words. Damn.
Now
that dude's a good tweeter, man. He knows what he's talking about.
Follow at Meech One if you're not keeping along. Okay, but on the coaching search, I know some of you guys we've been texting and there's some strong opinions here. So let's just head over to our buddy Tom, because I think you're going to kick this off with our coaching carousel viewpoint.
I'll say this.
Point counterpoint.
We need a winner. We need somebody that these players are going to respect, somebody that commands that respect. And there's nobody else, I think,
Van Horn,
more qualified than Dawn Staley. We would love to have you. Please come home. All right, you can come down to South Broad Street now.
Do you think Dawn is watching or listening?
She might be.
Is Dawn in the chat?
She might be. That's why I dress nice. Coach Staley dresses nice. I figured I better look nice if I'm going to talk about Coach Staley.
I think actually Dawn Staley is enough of a real one that if we could get in touch with her, she would probably come on the podcast. I'm serious. Let's get her on.
She's the ultimate Philly panderer. Like you talk about Bryce Harper. No, she's on the sidelines in Eagles gear. I mean, in a good way. It's a good thing.
When you say pander, it doesn't exactly sound good, but I get your point.
No, she's on
How about saying she
the
represents
sidelines at South Carolina wearing Eagles gear. That's pandering to the Philadelphia marketplace, which is a great thing.
When you're in South Carolina, it's not pandering, it's representing. It's different. But anyway, I digress. Tom, so you're a proponent of Dawn Staley being the first female head coach in the NBA. You think Dawn Staley is going to be able to, convince Joel Embiid it's time to step up? And
so that's my thing. I don't think that, as much like you said, like the players need someone that they're going to respect. I don't think a first-year coach making a jump from WNBA into a team that's supposed to be a championship contender is something that will work. I think the players, Harden has an ego. Joel has an ego.
Well, in my mind, Harden's not here because that's not happening.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Harden's gone.
Harden is coming back.
No, he's not.
But I don't know if she could reel in the egos or she's the one to
real quick, she could reel in the egos.
How do you know that? But she's never done it at this level.
Because she's a great leader and a great leader of people. But here's the thing. She gets paid so much at South Carolina, and she's so good at coaching these young girls, not just in basketball, but she's like in life. And she gets paid so well down there to where it wouldn't be worth it I wouldn't want to see her deal with these assholes on the 76ers.
Well, that's the thing. The team's a bunch of loser assholes.
I would rather.
That's why I want her. I
don't think they will work with her.
She doesn't. She's doing well, and she's making just as much there as she probably would in the NBA.
Okay.
She makes more than probably half of the NBA coaches.
So I want to come back to that because the same kind of theory applies a bit with Jay Wright. Like, all right, he's
same thing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with it.
He doesn't want to deal with these
somebody
guys.
eventually will want to be the person in Philly enough to do that. They will. But I just
you saw what happened to like Rick Pitino, like all these legend college coaches who tried to make in the NBA, and it just didn't work out because it's not what they're suited for.
Right.
And I think Dawn Staley recognizes that. And people who ask her to be a Sixers coach, I don't think get her feelings. I doubt she wants to do that.
I actually think
she's like, I'm not coming to deal with these.
The fact that she's down there in South Carolina wearing an Eagles shirt
for the Trailblazers job.
Right. Yeah. I think she'd absolutely do it. And originally, my sentiment was,
Coach,
I just
come
don't
home,
know.
Please come home, Coach.
No, but listen, I was like, I don't know. Is Joel Embiid going to listen to Dawn Staley
Absolutely. I think
he would listen to Nick Nurse or
I think he would listen to Dawn Staley more than I think he'd listen to Doc Rivers.
Hold on.
I agree.
Let me give you what the light bulb just went off my head. Part of me is like, would Joel Embiid or anyone else feel obligated to actually listen to her because there would be the assumption that he wasn't going to listen to her because she was the first female coach. And that
I think
you know what I'm saying?
She's so respected. It's not even about a female thing.
Right.
She's just so respected as a basketball mind. I don't think NBA players would, but I wouldn't. It's not for her to do. If she doesn't want to do it, she's in a perfect position right now.
But do you think you can just disregard completely the fact that she'd be the first female coach? Like that's not relevant at all?
Of course it's relevant. It would be huge. But after game two,
the players,
it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? After the initial
she has to manage the team the whole year, the playoffs. I think it means a lot in terms of how they interact, in terms of how they, and to my earlier point was, I don't know if they would take her seriously because she's the first female coach and because she doesn't have the same
it's
experience.
going to happen eventually.
But yeah, I do think they might actually be inclined to do so because they feel like obligated to give her a fair shot. So maybe.
But at the same time, I think a lot of listen, I don't know her. Maybe we should have her on and ask her this shit. But I don't think she'd even want to manage.
Come on in.
Come home,
coach an NBA team.
Come on. Well, after that,
we'll pick you up at the airport.
Does anyone have another? So that's who you're for. You're for Dawn.
Absolutely.
Meech, who are you? Or Fink, you're against Dawn. So where are you on this whole thing?
Currently, man, I'm on the Nick Nurse train right now.
You're nursing. You don't feel good about it?
No.
I'm on the Frank Vogel train.
Nurse could probably reel them in a little bit. He's a good XO guy. Whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
This team this whole team just has me down. They're a bunch of
just want to forget about it.
We need a coach that
I'm bad at picking coach. Like I don't know anything
I'm not
about
a
that
freaking
shit.
GM.
But I do think Nick Nurse could probably find some creative ways to get Joel open in space to where Doc couldn't do it. But what the hell do I know? I mean,
well,
we need somebody who's going to change the culture. That's what we need. I'm tired of hearing all this shit about heat culture in Miami. They don't care about basketball down there.
Even if at the end of the day, Doc is probably going to be a Hall of Fame coach, and the players didn't listen. They didn't like. You could tell Harden and him had problems. Harden didn't want him back. That's another reason he might be coming back. Harden didn't want him back, and now he's gone. Tom Harden's coming back. I'm getting that chicken sandwich.
That's what I'm saying. It's more. He got rid of him early, so James would consider coming back.
All right. Well,
we're doing here?
Look, it's clear to me we're not experts in picking coaches, and we're gonna bring in Jake. Yeah, just hit that red button there. Let's see.
What's happening, man?
Hold this. Can you hear that? Let's give you this mic, buddy. All
Hello?
right. So look, part of the mandate of the City Pigeons podcast is to draw attention to people in Philadelphia that are doing great things and inventing various offerings that people might be interested in. And we appreciate you hosting us here at this.
I appreciate you coming.
By the way,
Thank you, Jake.
it looks even better at night.
Doesn't it?
Are we awkwardly close together there, Jer? Maybe a little.
Just space
Very
out.
good.
Just a bit.
Okay, so So Jake, yeah, I know. If it starts pouring rain, we're just going to cut this thing. I don't think anyone will be the worse for it. So Jake, let's talk real quick about the human robot concept originally. Right, you started in Fishtown.
We started in Fishtown.
How do you like just start a brewery? How does that happen?
Well, for us, we looked for a space, and then we got lucky that we found an existing space, so we didn't have to build an actual brewery.
So they were already brewing beer there, and you just
more of that.
It's a good way to start a business.
It was a brewery that went out of business, so they were brewing beer there and weren't for about 6 months, and then we went in.
That helps.
Yes, it saves a lot of money. Building a brewery is very expensive.
Were you like contemplating building a brewery?
We were contemplating a brewery.
Okay.
We still own the building in Kensington.
Okay.
But well, it's in the it's in the middle of the zombie apocalypse. So.
So it was right when COVID went down.
Yeah, well, it's right where they're literally
north of Lehigh.
Yes, it's north of Lehigh.
Got it.
It's between the Somerset Station and the Huntingtons.
That's where you were going to be?
Yeah. We were gonna be pioneers, trailblazers, if you will.
Major upgrade. Yeah, because I've been to your spot. We had a watch party for an Eagles game there last fall, which was fantastic.
That was very much fun.
Awesome spot. You got the good outdoor setup too, which is great.
We still have our pirate ship. The city hasn't taken that from us yet.
Beautiful. So when you started this, how did you decide what kind of beer you were going to brew? Because I know you got a lot of like German stuff, Czech stuff. You got the milk tubes. How did this all come about?
Happenstance. The brewer that we hired happened to be world-class lager brewer, and we didn't really know that was going to happen that way. We thought we were going to be an IPA factory. Yeah. Because that's what people wanted.
I don't do IPA.
Yeah, everyone loves IPA. And then he said, can I do some of this beer? We all tried it. I haven't had an IPA since I tried it. So,
but you do make some IPAs.
We do make some really good IPA.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So far, we've been drinking the American and German Pilsner because
good.
That's what we got out of the fridge.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what you stole from the
fridge.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't here, so we just got right in there. We got right in there.
All I heard Jesse was like, Jake said we can drink whatever we want. That's all I heard.
I was like, who wants to make bagels? Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway, but here we are at which is a new tasting room.
Yeah.
Is this in a partnership with the spread?
Kind of. We're a sublease. Basically, they close at 3. We open at 3. Mm-hmm. Weekends, there's some crossover.
Right.
And we're going to hope for some more synergy, but we're
bagels
just testing
and beer.
it out.
I think there could be something there.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it could be worse things. Yeah. And this porch is pretty dope.
This is a great porch, man.
It's a pretty dope porch.
Really cool. Really cool. When I saw it, I was like,
water and lights and
if you're into water, lights, cool. Urban scenery. When we were talking about you opening this, and I looked it up and I was like, I'm definitely gonna hit hip hop about doing a podcast on that deck.
I'm glad you did. We can do this.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are. Okay, so we were hoping. And by the way,
I'm gonna go grab a few. Right?
Yeah, go grab a few for us. See what you can find in there. See if you can find any IPAs. Okay, so we were hoping you might give us some insights. And people, if you haven't been down here or you haven't been to Fishtown, Human Robot's got a bunch of cool beers. Very cool place to be. But you must know some ins and outs of the beer scene. Who's doing what? The craft beer thing exploded. What are the cool places to go? So on and so forth. You got any nuggets for us about the craft beer scene in Philly? And come on, man, you got to give us something here.
There's a lot of you. Do you all get along? Like, is it competitive?
Of course.
No way they get along.
It's more, I've been in this scene for a long time, and that's kind of what's always been the greatest thing is the camaraderie.
Right.
It's shocking because you would be competitors and people, fighting for that same dollar, but everyone would be hanging out, and like it was actually very communal, and it still is. We do a lot of stuff together. A lot of stuff.
Well, you're clearly not going to throw anyone under the bus.
Not on air.
Which is disappointing.
Stop trying to get him in trouble.
I know there's some shitty breweries, and I just wanted to hear about it.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, but let's do this then. I will flip it because you guys are all about kumbaya, whatever. Why don't you tell people?
You're wearing a Love Wins shirt, and you're telling us.
Love wins. Mark Goodhart, baby. Love doesn't always win. He could tell you that if he's telling the truth. Okay, but here's my question. Let's go the other route. Let's talk about some recommendations. You must be super tapped into a lot of the like up and coming.
Yes. So I would say
breweries, craft beers.
First is Carbon Copy. which is
Carbon
in
copy.
West Philly in the old Dock Street location.
By the way, I'm taking notes because these are the places that we're going to go next on our magic tour
They
of
are,
podcast beer establishments.
2 world-class
Meech, can you
brewers.
control your pad? Ray Dinger, it's out of control. It's making noises.
Diddy, come on.
Come on. Okay, Carbon Copy. Where's
Carbon
that again?
Copy is in West Philly. I think it's 50th and Baltimore. It's the old Dock Street.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised. I got it.
I would say that's a
The
high
old
recommendation.
Dock Street.
Yeah, the
Okay.
original.
The original.
Dock
the OJ.
Street.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna say Fermentary Form, which is near us, which is currently closed. It's in the Speakeasy Form.
It's private?
Yes.
Prohibition.
It's a private
Is
club.
Prohibition hitting?
It's a private club.
Damn it. What's it called?
Um,
Fermentation?
Fermentary Form.
Fermentary
It's
form.
all sour
Okay.
beer. Do you like sour beer?
You know what's funny, man?
I do.
You like sour beer?
I love them.
You love it.
Love it.
I've heard a lot of talk about the sour beer recently, and I have not had a lot of sour beer. I assume it's
It's acquired taste.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I'd imagine that rips you up a little, you know?
It does.
Yeah.
The guts. You should imagine.
Yeah,
You can only imagine what those
Yeah,
guts.
yeah, I don't want to get into that because, listen, I got into the IPAs, and then that was problematic.
That's why I'm back in the lager.
I tend to be able to, like, I keep going when I don't usually stop at 1 or 2, and so when you have 3 or 4 IPAs, it's a bad thing. And I can only imagine what sour beer is like. Jeez.
Exactly.
I don't know about
That'll
that.
tear you up.
Delicious.
All right, what else? Anything else that we need to look out for?
I mean, Sacred Vice is one that's opening soon.
That sounds cool. Meech, Sacred Vice. You down with that? I feel like I'm going to get a
whatever,
Sacred Vice
man.
tattoo.
They had a
That'd be
little
sweet.
spot in Port Richmond, and they're going to be opening at Front and Berks right near us, actually.
it.
So, like you said, like competition, like they're literally
Yeah,
4 blocks
but
away.
you love it.
All love.
If it's good beer, you're down, right?
Well,
You
of course. It's
respect
got to
it.
be good looking.
If it's crap beer,
It's
you're
got to
like,
be.
man.
It's got to exactly.
Meech, let me ask this question, because you strike me as a pretty standard guy. Do you dabble at all? In
No, I don't. I'm not a dabbler.
He's not a dabbler.
I'm a very faithful. I get one brand and that's
What
it.
brand is it?
Silver
Kenwood.
Bullet?
I'm a
Kenny?
Kenwood guy.
The Kenny, they've been a big supporter of the program.
I've
We
been-
love the
I
Kenny.
appreciate that.
When I was in high school, I was a Heineken guy, and nobody drank. It was all Natty Light and Milwaukee's Best. But I would get like a 6-pack of Heineken, like a friggin' weirdo. And then that got
It's a little
too
weird.
heavy, so I switched to Miller Lite. And then in the past few years, I switched to Kenwood.
Well, it's good that like you can get a light beer like that. We make a light beer like that called Tin Hoagie. Which,
Tin
This is-
Hoagie?
this is
Love
great.
it.
Right.
You like that?
This is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's a
no,
Pilsner,
this is like
so.
still like even much
And
more flavor. Like Tin Hoagie is just like Coors Light. Like, it's just
I'm the
like,
furthest from a beer snob. Like
Mhm.
if I'm at a place and you got a beer,
No,
hand it to me
Kenny's
and I'll
good beer
drink
to
it.
crush. Like
Yeah.
I love owning Kenny. Like
Yeah.
and those guys are great.
And they've been coming out, supporting us. So
Yeah, no,
I think
absolutely.
the reality is we love most
No.
beers,
And when you ask me that
I,
question, I'm
I was
thinking
gonna say I don't recall you being picky about who's
Yeah,
gonna.
nah, we're just trying to find new cool spots to go to.
You
But
just wanted me to talk shit.
yeah, I was hoping you.
He was trying to set you up there. That's not cool.
I don't have
Trying to set 'em up.
I don't have the taste recognition to have 10 different kinds of go. I like the flavor and I'm just not that kind of dude. You know what
No,
I mean?
Did you do it with a burger?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheesesteak.
Like I'm not. Listen,
Simple pleasures.
I have faith. I'm very loyal. Like I go to a restaurant, I order the same goddamn thing every time I go. I don't venture
fair, I
out.
do
You
The
that.
know what I
bird
mean?
is in the sky. The bird is in the sky.
I'm very loyal. Like I find something I like and I just stick with it. I don't
It's fair.
venture. But if I do, am forced to have something, I love it. You know.
Do you think the brewery explosion is gonna is it like a bubble that's gonna burst? Because it seems like a new one pops up every day. Is it
It's-
sustainable?
On one hand, I could say yes. I mean, we're now at 9,000 breweries in the U.S., I want to say. And,
I would have said more.
Yeah, right.
What do I
Feels-
know?
Feels like a lot.
But the reality is if your place says brewery on a Saturday, it's going to be packed. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter what the beer tastes like or what's going on. If it says brewery, people show up on the weekend. So if you're small and I think it can last. It just depends on the size and what is
But
happening.
As it becomes so commonplace, I think these niche spots that have a really good marketing, look at these cans. These are beautiful.
Jimmy's a wonderful designer.
Is that your designer,
Jimmy
Jimmy?
Scantron.
All right.
He's
Is-
a real Philadelphia G.
All right. We love it. Looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, he's
I
a good
think
guy.
my point is you can build just like the City Pigeons podcast, you can build community around human robot and
Absolutely.
your
that's what we're
businesses.
about.
That's what you're about.
No,
And
absolutely.
the fact that you just so willingly brought us here is amazing. And
Welcome anytime.
thank you. We may make it recurring.
We are not leaving.
And there is a point, by the way, where it's not free anymore. You start paying, but we'll, we're not there. Yeah, you start paying us. We don't just come suck down all your free beer and your beautiful little. No, but seriously, man, thank you for having us.
City Pigeons Pilsner.
City Pigeons Pilsner.
Hey,
the first brewery that gets down with that. We can do some good
What
stuff.
about NA beers? That's what everybody
Thanks for
goes
inviting
after.
us.
Oh yeah. Tom,
Do you have any NA beers?
Do you have any
Is that,
non-alcoholic
I think
beers?
is that the equivalent of you asking us if we can do
To
gluten-free?
do that would require
Exactly.
a $500,000
Right.
machine, which I'm into, but I don't
Really?
have a
Right.
$500,000.
Damn, that's a shame.
I'll lend it to you, dude.
Yeah, I think
We'll talk after the show.
Talk to some of them.
I got you.
Each and
got
Fink
you.
can drink the alcohol out of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we'll suck the
Yo,
alcohol.
thanks. Hey, thanks for having us. And I know everybody. I see some people. Our
That's a
families are
great
starting to
idea.
head out.
There you go.
Everybody's got
That's
the
me.
kids. You got to
See
get
ya.
home with the kids to
See
bed.
ya, yeah.
So listen,
They're
We're
like,
gonna-
we had enough of this.
we're gonna wrap
episode.
it up,
Our
guys.
whole family's leaving.
Here's my hope.
They
Right,
left me.
the Phils somehow pulled that one out today, and I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, that is some sort of sign
Ride it.
that our luck is going to change.
Ride it.
I mean, I
That's-
had to
You know,
juice Turner up.
we ran out of time, but I forgot. I had a rant against Bark in the Park, which happened the other night. I wait until
No,
next
no,
episode.
no.
Don't let me forget it because it's good. It's a well.
No, we're not out of time. We'll do it right now. We'll do it
Don't
right
tease
now.
them.
We can
Don't
do whatever
tease
we
them,
want.
Meech.
Because I will say this: Meech was not at the game last night, but Tom, you were there,
I
right?
was there, yes.
Okay, and he out of nowhere
Leo's birthday,
Sends me a
9-year-old.
text,
Shout out,
or
buddy.
sends our group a text about how much he hates Bark in the Park. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is the guy who said the wave doesn't really bother him, and he's coming out hard
I can't
against
believe
Bark
you're,
at the Park.
you're talking about the wave versus a bunch of rabid dogs
Rabid.
in a
You're painting
stadium.
with a broad brush, buddy.
All right. Well, listen. Here's I'll do
There
it.
wasn't a ton.
Go ahead and
I'll run
attack
through-
man's
I'll
best
run
friend.
through
See
it
how that
as
goes for
quickly-
you.
I'm not. Listen, I'm less against dogs in this rant as I am against dog owners, because a lot of dog owners don't understand that people don't
It's like
want their
parenting
smelly
kids,
dog
right.
around them, especially at a baseball game. Now, aside from my inconvenience to where I wouldn't want your smelly dog around me. Dogs hate fireworks. They hate when another
Right.
dog is across the street. Can you imagine if there's 1,000 other dogs in the same stadium and everybody is cheering and shit's
Okay,
a
but
bell's
can I
ringing?
pause? Tom, can you?
It's
hold on,
causing
hold on.
anxiety on these
You weren't-
dogs.
Okay, you weren't even there to experience this. Tom, can you speak to what level of anxiety you saw amongst the dogs in reaction to the goings on at Citizens Bank Park? Can you attest?
To what Meech is talking about, there was not as many as you would have thought. There was not.
Not a lot of
There
dogs.
So
wasn't a
what
lot
are
of
these,
dogs.
are
To the
these all
point where I-
service dogs that people bring? Or
Well,
are these all
you
the
had to buy that
common fucking
ticket.
dogs?
Yeah,
Because
you
I
had-
walk around in my neighborhood and these dogs are barking if you walk near them. Like,
Right. I texted
That's
our one
deep
coworker. I
Northeast
said, "Are you
Philly
guys here
dogs."
tonight with your dog?" Because they're
I
big
guess
dog people. I thought they'd be here.
Okay, so
but that's what they said. They said, "No, no way. The fireworks.
did
know,
you even
it's
think?
too much."
so who's cleaning up after the? Or is it the job of the
Do
Citizens
they hand
Bank
out bags?
workers?
Do they take dumps?
Are you supposed to bring your dog to a like? You can't even smoke in Citizens Bank Park. Now they're
You
going to have
can't?
a little shit
that's
area
right.
for your dog.
Raises a good point.
These are great points. And then like
People still
These are
smoke.
great points.
People still smoke.
if I was a worker at Citizens Bank Park and they said, "Yo, tonight's Bark in the Park," I'd be like, yeah, I just came down. I got COVID. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna come in tonight. All right? See
Still
ya."
Okay.
make that.
But here's the question I have: if your dog, like, there's people who bring their dog and they're like, "Yeah, Sparky's not great with other dogs, but I think it'll be fine." Like, when he
those
comes
people
in,
go there.
do they get kicked out? Can you get kicked out for your dog's behavior? I think you must be able to. If your dog is
There's
in there
gotta be
biting other
dog
dogs, like,
fights.
you're
There's
out.
gotta
You
be,
and your
like,
dog.
How many-
Barking back and
I wanna know
forth.
this.
It's just
I wanna find
natural
this out.
between
I
You
wanna-
were there.
I was there, and there was not.
He didn't see any of this.
It was hardly any dogs.
Did the dogs know it was the bottom of the fourth inning? Did they know who was up
Yeah,
to
they
bat?
stood at
Were the dogs
they stood-
following the
They
baseball
covered
game?
their ears when B Dog was singing.
Right, yeah.
Oh man.
Okay,
They were marking down their
Love you, Warrior
scoreboards when it
Bitch.
was a walk. They were marking BB in their little scorebooks.
let me
their
ask you a
doggy
question.
Scorebooks.
how many children's eyes did you look in that were glowing as a result of the dogs and the camaraderie of the dogs.
You could have did that the same shit at a dog park in your neighborhood. You didn't have to
right down here.
Drag this poor dog down to Citizens Bank Park, park in the park. Like it's torture for this goddamn dog.
It is.
Here's the thing: can we commit right now?
I'm commiserating with the dog, I don't give a shit about the owners.
He's commiserating with the dogs. Taking the dogs to bark in the park is an injustice to the dogs. Okay, next year, if they have bark at the park again, we're going. We are going. You're going.
With who?
With me. Jesus, son.
We bringing a dog?
Yes,
we're bringing a dog.
100%.
We're bringing a dog, and you're gonna just.
I want to bring one of those dogs that slobber all over everybody.
Yeah, you know what you should do?
That's just like what was that movie with Beethoven? With the
Hold up, I got the best idea.
Turner and Hoops, that kind of fucking dog.
Listen up. And we're gonna end with this because I feel like we've gone, to a whole new place. But Meech, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get a puppet, and you're gonna do comic the Triumph dog, and we're gonna do bits where you do Triumph. He's like, oh, you look pretty good. I think I'm going to latch onto the back of you, sister. You know what I mean? That's what you're gonna do. I do a great Triumph, by the way, so I might have to.
That was a pretty good Triumph.
That was good.
It's funny. You want to hear a story? No, you don't, but I don't care.
No,
I do this.
With stories.
No, real quick. I do this thing for my kids at night where it's called Animal Theater, and it's like puppet show. So I make I make their stuffies come to life. No matter what I do, I try to do different accents. I always end up at Triumph. I end up at Triumph. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? It's nice to see you. I can't get away from it, and I think that's a great thing. Thank you, Conan. And thank
you, Robert Schmeigel.
Fair enough. You know, in the year 2000, Meech. In the year 2000.
Yep.
In the year 2000. All right. On that note, folks, we've had fun. I hope you did too.
Everyone's tuned out 17 minutes ago.
But seriously, go check out the.
Once I started my dog rant.
Go check out the City Pigeons 2022-2023 trailer to see the highlights from all of the episodes. Please like, subscribe, comment, review. So I don't know what else there is, but just whatever you can do.
Last episode of Barry on Max.
Oh my God, this guy and Barry.
Here we go.
He loves Barry. You got to get in there. All right, thank you guys. Catch you next time.
See you.
Love you.
Adios. Mark